History of the Emmanuel Alliance Church of Ottawa. EACO's development can be divided into 3 periods of time, each coincidentally linked to a move to a new location, marking a milestone in our history. Phase 1. Establishing the Church, August 1989 to August 1991. The birth of the Canada Chinese Alliance Church, KCAC, now known as Emmanuel Alliance Church of Ottawa, EACO, was found in a vision conceived by the Ottawa Chinese Alliance Church to plant another church, a vision which originated in the midst of their 15th anniversary celebrations and in keeping with the year 2000 growth plan of the Christian Missionary Alliance in Canada. In 1988, after 3 months of studies, the study team proposed that a new Chinese church be planted in Canada to serve the residents in the area. This proposal was based on the fact that there were a large number of Chinese people living in the Canada area, including over 30% of the members of OCAC. While still in the planning stage, God provided in a special way for EACO. The Canada Pentecostal Church was willing to lend their facilities on Sunday afternoons for worship services. 7 families from OCAC stepped forward who were willing to join the new church. On August 20th, 1989, the first Sunday worship was held with 40 people in attendance. Some of those who attended were from OCAC, while the rest were Christians from other churches in the city. On September 10th, 1989, the district superintendent, Reverend Robert Gould, came to conduct the official opening of the Canada Chinese Alliance Church. At the beginning, KCAC was without a pastor. Reverend Jason Young, then pastor at OCAC, came to help with the preaching and with visitation. In October 1989, the church invited Reverend Derek Lee from Hong Kong to be the pastor. In mid-1990, Reverend Lee arrived to take up the role as the first pastor to serve the KCAC. By God's grace, under the leadership of Reverend Lee and with the dedication of the whole congregation, our church grew steadily. In 1990, we held our first baptismal service when 4 brothers and sisters were baptized and joined the church. By 1991, attendance in Sunday worship services had grown to 100. Many Chinese people were brought to Christ. The church was also actively involved in missionary endeavors. After 2 years of continuous development, the church felt that holding Sunday services in the afternoon could become a hindrance to church growth. Our church decided, therefore, to move the Sunday services to Castle Frank Elementary School. Phase 2. Preparing for Growth, September 1991 to June 1995. On September 8, 1991, KCAC turned a new page by holding the first Sunday service at the Castle Frank Elementary School. With this move, we were able to change the time of the service to 10:30 a.m. The venue was the school library. Sunday school classes for both adults and children were held in the gymnasium and the corridors, respectively. In 1993, our church faced another challenge. Reverend Lee resigned and returned to Hong Kong to take care of his father, who was seriously ill. However, God's grace is never in short supply. He inspired many members with more enthusiasm to serve him, and also led Dr. Wing Sung from OCAC to teach Sunday school and preach in our services. In early 1994, the late Reverend Arthur Louis agreed to take the position of interim pastor. Reverend Louis had served the Lord in various places in Canada, and had retired to live in Waterloo. Even in his retirement, Reverend Louis still served the Lord zealously. He felt for our needs, and traveled from Waterloo to live in Ottawa for 9 days out of each month. During these visits to Ottawa, he preached on 2 Sundays and chaired the monthly board meeting. His faithfulness to God greatly relieved our burden at a time of difficulty. Reverend Louis went to be with the Lord on August 17, 1995, at 61 years of age. He was one of the most precious gifts that God has given to us, devoting the last 1.5 years of his earthly life to us. Reverend Louis remains an important part of EACO's history. We will remember such a faithful servant in our hearts forever. In mid-1994, the church invited Reverend John Hall, a former missionary now living in Canada, to preach once a month in our Sunday services. At the end of 1994, God led Reverend Aaron Tang from Vancouver to serve as our pastor. In early 1995, Reverend Hall became the English ministry director. God's providence was much more than what we had expected. At the close of the year 1994, the church board conceived 3 goals for the next 3 years. A. To develop an English ministry. B. To search for a permanent church property. C. To develop a Christian education ministry. Again in 1995, God accomplished amazing things in our church. We were advised that the building would be closed during summer months for renovation. This decision forced us to speed up the process of achieving the second goal, finding a permanent church property. The Capital View Community Church in Bells Corners was willing to lend us part of their building for those summer months. Thus, we reached another milestone in our journey when we moved to their building in Bells Corners. Phase 3. 1 church, 3 congregations. July 1995 to present. In the summer of 1995, we rented the 3rd floor from Capital View Community Church for Sunday services. After a few months, CVCC decided to sell us the whole property and its facilities at a bargain price. The deal was settled in December 1995. In early 1996, the church decided to change the name from Canada Chinese Alliance Church to Emmanuel Alliance Church of Ottawa. The word Chinese was dropped in acknowledgement of the church's mission to spread the gospel to all nations. In March 1996, we held the dedication ceremony to glorify and praise God for our new building. On that day, some Mandarin-speaking people, some who were Christians and other friends, began attending our church. God had another amazing plan for our church. After purchasing our own property, we were able to fervently put our efforts into developing the English ministry. The first step was a separate English Sunday service. Next, a core group was formed to help Reverend Hall plan the English ministry. Thanks to God's blessings and guidance, the church's first and second goals were achieved in less than the time span of 1 year. Starting from the day of the church dedication ceremony, the attendance of Mandarin-speaking members gradually started to increase. In 1997, the church officially adopted Mandarin ministry as part of EACO's ministry. In January 1998, a separate Mandarin Sunday service was first held and a core group was formed to look after the Mandarin ministry. This set the structure for our ministry pattern: 3 separate Sunday services for 3 distinct linguistic groups: Cantonese, English, and Mandarin. The one roof, 3 congregations model has elected elders from each of the 3 congregations sitting on one church board, overseeing the ministries for the entire church. Our church reached yet another milestone. As the new church model came into place, God continued to bless the church with new pastoral team members. In 1998, Reverend Wayne Baxter joined the church staff as youth pastor to meet the increasing need in youth ministry. In the year 2000, Pastor Heng En Zhang joined the church staff as pastor for the Mandarin ministry. In 2001, Reverend John Hall became a local missionary. The search for an English pastor began. In the year 2002, Mrs. Amanda Chan became the director of our children's ministry. In the same year, Reverend Baxter left to pursue postgraduate studies. In 2003, Reverend Sean Veach succeeded Reverend Wayne Baxter as youth pastor. In 2005, Pastor Kevin Wood came to serve as pastor for the English ministry. After Pastor Zhang left in 2005, Pastor Jin Sung Yu joined the pastoral staff in 2006, seating Pastor Zhang to serve the Mandarin ministry. In 2009, Amanda Chan completed her 7-year service plan, and Sue Ho succeeded Amanda as Director of Children's Ministry. In the same year, Pastor Wood left to resume his previous teaching role in Honduras. Under the One Roof, Three Congregations model, EACO continued to develop in various areas. In 1998, we adapted the principle of the purpose-driven model and realigned all our ministries under the functions of worship, instruction, fellowship, and evangelism. In 1999, the small group ministry was first started in the Cantonese congregation and gradually was applied in the other congregations. In the year 2000, EACO reached an attendance of 300 people in the Sunday services for the first time. In February 2001, God again accomplished amazing things in our church when our neighboring Dairy Queen property went up for sale. On March 11, 2001, at a special general meeting, the church approved the purchase of the Dairy Queen property to meet the increasing need for space. A church building committee was later formed to drive the church expansion project. The lot was used as parking space until the time came to erect the new building. In 2003, the church unanimously adopted a vision statement to be a vibrant church in the city of Ottawa, transforming people of different cultures to become devoted followers of Christ. This vision provided a clear direction for the future ministries of EACO. In 2004, the 40 Days of Purpose campaign was launched in keeping with the church theme of Deeper Life. Over 400 people registered for this campaign, and over 100 brothers and sisters served continuously for a period of 4 months. Many lives were touched and encouraged to seek seriously God's purpose in their lives. In 2005, the church adopted a new organizational structure to address effectively the needs of our congregation. The church board served as the envisioning body to oversee and care for the entire church body, while the staff team served as the executing body. In 2007, in keeping with the church theme of Arise and Proclaim, 3 Alpha courses were launched in February and September. Over 400 people attended the first introductory night in February. Many people accepted Christ during and after the courses. The Alpha course remained EACO's longest and most extensive evangelistic activity, encompassing all of EACO's ministries. On April 13, 2008, 7 years after the purchase of the lot, a groundbreaking ceremony was held in the Dairy Queen lot, committing the church building project to God. The construction work was completed smoothly in 1 year. On May 17, 2009, a dedication ceremony was held to glorify and praise God for our new building. The attendance was over 600 on that day, including the honorable guests Dr. Franklin Piles, President of the Christian and Missionary Alliance in Canada, and the Right Honorable Stephen Harper, Prime Minister of Canada. The new building is yet another gift to EACO from God for His glory's sake. It reminds us of our role as a missions church, to be His witness in the community. God has blessed us immeasurably over the past 20 years. People have been brought to Christ continually. We used to rent space, but now we have our own property that we can use to serve our community. We started out as a Cantonese church, and now we have 3 congregations speaking 3 different languages. The offerings have increased significantly also. The offering for missions has increased from $3,000 in 1991 to $127,800 in 2008, in addition to increasing church involvement in global missions. All of this comes out of God's abundant grace and blessing. More than just offering our thanksgiving and praise, may we respond to God's deepest love by serving Him diligently with our whole heart.